You know you make me want to shout, throw my hands up and shout, kick my heels up and shout, hey, 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 hey.
We're on.
What are you really gambling with?
Coming up on Hold All Tickets, brought to you by Tab. 3 Group 1s in Sydney and Melbourne, and Gil Observer looks to be the star of the show at Flemington.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing Observer in the Group 1. Gets his chance, Group 1 mile. That's a nice big target for him this campaign. We'll see that. And we might see another Group 1 mare in the making in Alpha Sophie.
And of course, Autumn Glow headlines the rest in Sydney. Of course, Group 1 surround stakes there. Plenty of that and much more coming up right now on Hold All Tickets. Welcome to Hold All Tickets, brought to you by Tab. Get race day ready with expert tips from the team at Sky Racing, plus runner insights to help you do the form fast. I'm your host this week, Alex Donnelly. Campbell Brown, way too busy celebrating the winners he backed last week down in Tassie. Off the bench this week also with Katie McDonald to join us once again next week is Gilbert Gardiner. Hello, Gil.
Hello, Alex. One premiership, one Group 1 short, but, benchmark 74, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely neither a Group 1 winning rider or a premiership footballer. I am struggling to walk at the moment. That's how good my fitness is going. But as I said, thanks again for Katie for joining us last week. She'll be back next week, as will Brownie. But we'll quickly touch on last week. Gil, both you and I were at Caulfield. We had the 3 Group 1s there. And, well, Streisand set off basically a mosh pit in the mounting yard when won by Clint McDonald and Ben Mellum. Obviously, Clint McDonald's second Blue Diamond in a couple of years. But it seems as if at the moment, the Melbourne 2-year-olds look like they have the edge going forward.
I'm surprised you got a view of the Blue Diamond from the corporate area down the mounting yard there. It was a wonderful
the
showcase.
Old new mounting yard.
The old new mounting yard, yes, the world's most expensive entertainment deck. But no, the mounting yard proper, the traditional mounting yard it just exploded. I don't know how many owners Streisand has. I tell you what, it's probably not going to be 647 that appeared. And Dusty Martin, boy, did he set the world alight when he sort of rocked into the mounting yard as well. For those playing at home, I don't believe he's an owner. He might be a silent owner, but speaking to Michael Gardner, he said, no, he's just a mate. He's just a really good mate. I think he might be godfather or to one of Michael's children. But he was there, but of course, forget about the Blue Diamond. It was all about Dusty fever. But no, the Colts and the Phillies, the Victorian form is clearly the one. We saw Stretton Ruler go up there in Sydney and win. I was so livid. I was on a futures bet for the Blue Diamond. First emergency.
Oh, no.
First emergency. Thank you very much, Philip Stokes. First emergency, I thought surely just going to scrape in. You stay
and
in
would
Melbourne.
have got a run.
And they lost about 16 runners. No, they didn't. They lost, I think, 3 came out. So definitely would have got a run. Definitely, I don't know. Maybe he goes better the Sydney leg. Yeah. I think he would have been in the finish. But yes, it hurt me to watch that. But
did you have something on at least?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, just enough to cover my bets. But no, the Victorian form is, I think, rock solid. And I think you look at that Blue Diamond, you could basically, off the top of my head, maybe the top 6.
Yep.
Certainly 4 of the top 6, we understand, are heading up to Sydney for the Golden Slippers. So I think that's pretty exciting in itself. It is very hard to do the Blue Diamond into a slipper, but a couple of them are quite lightly raced. Yeah. They haven't, the Blue Diamond was a grand final clearly, but there's still a bit of petrol in the locker. Yeah,
Guesthouse, Zach Lloyd already booked for that. Guesthouse needs to learn how to jump if he wants to win a Golden Slipper. It's starting to become an issue that it's happened 2 starts in a row to start the campaign. So
yeah, and that's the thing, and it goes to show how much ability this colt has, because he's not been beaten far when he does do a few things wrong. Closer to free, will be paying up and heading up there. Zimbalis, he's I think on the way up to Sydney.
If he goes to the Todman, he'll win.
Yeah, so that's the decision they've got to make. They're sort of thinking of Todmans. Of course, Tentaurus, bolted in the Todman last year after being just touched off in the Blue Diamond. Yeah. So the form, Godolphin, Friedman, etc. You follow the same patterns, blinkers. So he'll be heading in that direction. And I still think Eternal Warrior, I think that might be actually the best colt of the lot of them. He's 3 runs to date. He's basically drawn the car park. Geez, he's due a change of luck there at the barrier draw. I mean, if you can just draw a gate and just be a little bit closer, not have to do these sustained runs. Damien Lane basically had him sideways at the 200, copped the suspension doing so, but to try and get him out into clear air, and he finished off well. I think he might be, certainly a Group 1 colt in the making. He just needs a little bit of luck.
And the filly that we talked about, Cheyenne, was good, wide on a limb, did too much work, knocked up at the 150-metre mark, but geez, at the top of the straight, At the big odds I'd taken earlier, I was like, I might be, no, I'm not. But I think she's a filly that we can follow. That was only a second start, maybe a Percy Sykes, or there's a couple of other races here in Melbourne for her. But Pericles, Craig Williams, he absolutely bossed this. He went to Sydney to give Pericles 2 rides in the trials, and he was always confident, you could see in the run on Pericles, to get over the top of the Treasure of the Moment. But quickly with Treasure of the Moment, leading wasn't the issue. She wasn't fit enough is my thing.
I'd rather her not lead either.
Yeah.
I think she just knocked up a little bit. I think she probably did a bit too much work early in that early and mid stage.
She went slower in the first 800 than she did first up when she won the Memsey.
Okay, we'll rewind that and I'll take that back.
I studied the notes. I was like, I want to prove my point here.
Right. Well, anyway, I'll still, to my eye, I think she probably overworked it early doors. I thought
Willow made it work.
Yeah. Willow it was a beautiful ride by Willow because he sort of poked up enough to be a pest. And then he just sort of, I've done my job here, snagged back. Now, I think if you reverse those roles, I think she could certainly challenge. I mean, she's not been beaten far. What's she been beaten a length or thereabouts? I think she'll be better for it. We saw it last campaign. Nothing went right. I think the All-Star Mile is going to be a great race for her. Because I think she will, apart from the Pride of Jenny sort of spectre of the hot speed and whether whether she'll blow them up, because we know that Pride of Jenny blows the other horses up and breaks their hearts. That's probably the danger, but she is going to get a genuine race.
Yeah.
And that's what Treasure needs. She wants to sit back, a couple of pairs, a couple of lengths off them, stalk, and finish off late. So I think the All-Star Mile, there'll be no excuses. If she doesn't come out and run really well in that, then maybe you're starting to question how well is she going. Maybe last spring took it out of her. She went super in the Cox Plate. She's placed in the Cox Plate. I mean, what more can you do? She's a 4-time Group 1 winner, placed in the Cox Plate. Inconclusive how she's come back. I thought she went well.
Yep. And finally, just quickly, Tropicus won the Oakley Plate. Craig Williams, once again, absolutely bossed that race. Perfect ride, perfect setup. He's come back better, and he'll run well in a William Reid in a couple of weeks' time if he goes there.
Yeah, loves Caulfield.
Yep.
Just anything at Caulfield. He's pretty valuable too. He's a 2-darn hot, isn't he, I think? So Group 1 winner by 2-darn hot, and he's just a bomb-proof sprinter. I heard something during the week. I think they tried to stretch him out to a Guineas.
Yeah, they did. They early on they were taking him back to get him to settle.
Yeah,
and they're like, hold on, let's just harness this speed and
it's just which I think it's great. I mean, nice if he had a bit more, maybe with a bit more maturity. He's a horse that seems to be getting better with age.
Yeah,
he might be one in a year or two that can not be a Caulfield specialist and take that on the road to a Flemington or even up to Sydney or wherever and sort of chase the races. But he's just so bomb-proof. He puts himself there. He's got a good turn of foot. I mean, he was second favourite for a reason. Sort of documented on one of our other shows. I wasn't a big rap for the Oakley Plate, generally speaking. I thought Point Barrow was okay. Probably found out against the older seasoned horses.
Has never gone that fast early, and she was near last.
Yeah. I was a bit disappointed there. It's a race.
Yep. Carrying Rising finally broke Silent Witness's record on the weekend. The fans weren't the early crow. They'd unveiled the 18 straight wins pre-race. He smashed the track record. It won't happen. I want to see him run a mile, do what Silent Witness couldn't do, and that was win a Champions Mile. I'd love to see him and Romantic Warrior clash over a mile. It's probably never going to happen, but Carrying Rising, he'll be back here in the spring for the Everest, and obviously the dream matchup at the moment is him v Jimmy v Tentaris.
Yeah, you run a good honest third, I think.
You are no rap. You just want to see him. You want to shoot Bambi. That's what you are.
No. He's a great horse over there.
Yeah.
He's a great horse over there in Hong Kong. We got the trifecta, which was great.
Yeah.
Our horse...
Lucky Swain S, God bless him.
Lucky Swain S just snuck the nose out and gave us the trisy there, which was great. But... look, it's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it great to see these horses just go on these streaks and you've got to give them credit. They took on the world's best. They came down here and he was underdone and he did beat us fair and square and he wasn't at his best. So I think it's exciting. Long may it continue. Hopefully, it just keeps on winning. I mean, the issue is going to be you just can't keep beating up on them in their backyard.
That's
so whether
why I
he
want to
goes
see
somewhere
him on a
else,
mile. That's why I say I'm like, all right, you're gonna beat Helios Express and Lucky Swain S and everyone else for the next 12 months. Run over a mile next year. Let's have a crack because like at the end of the day, you've got all the money. He's probably gonna have 50 million in prize money. It's like have a go at the mile.
Yeah.
Why not? If you get beaten, who cares? You've already lost.
Yeah. Look, I think they come back here. They get a bit more money from the Everest.
And the balding, apparently.
And there's nothing wrong with the VRC sprint if they can go the champion sprint if they can get him down here. That'd be a nice way to round out your Australian campaign. Really prove Tentaris and him in a champion sprint would be a nice clash. I don't think Jimmy down the straight, or maybe, but and then of course Royal Ascot. I think that'd be I mean, the prize money, basically a barrier trial for him in terms of prize money. But I think that would be something that David Hayes and Connections would like.
It's an interesting one that we'll sort of follow over the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Let's get to the racing this weekend here in Australia. Start off with the first Group 1 of the weekend, which is the Australian Guineas. Observer currently your favourite with Tab, $2.30, 60s $2.70, Planet Red $5.50, $17 and longer the rest. West of Swindon is that one. Speed, well, Observer rolls forward. You'd think 60s from barrier 10, given his best performances have been from up on speed, probably rolls forward too. I had a theory. Could we get Catalyst versus Alligator Blood 2.0 with it'd be great to see those two clear off. Obviously, no disrespect to the rest, but Planet Red's going back, and Romantic Encounter showed speed in the past before as well.
Look, I think that would be nice viewing. I think 60s would get blown up. I think Observer's clearly the best horse. Yep. He's got the best lung capacity. He's got a free striding, free rolling. He'll go forward. He'll make the race his own. He'll dictate it, and he'll be hardest to beat. I think I just can't see anything really going for nothing challenging him. I think Planet Red's the one that'll be coming from the back.
Yeah.
I think 60s will have to be ridden conservatively. Yes, it's a small field. It's only barrier 10, so 10-horse field. But I don't think they can afford to go up and match motors with Observer because I think that'll bring him undone. So he's going to have to give him a start and try and finish him or, get him late. And I think Observer's the superior horse in that sort of setup. Planet Red's the one that'll be coming from the back. And Victoria's Spirit's probably the one. It looks like it. The market says it's a 3-horse race. The market says it'll finish 1-4-2.
Yeah.
I think 1-2-4 would be thereabouts, but I wouldn't mind Victoria's Spirit to run a cheeky race, especially if we do get that speed duel where if 60s does push forward and try and turn it into a race, you might have Victoria's Spirit sort of smoking the pipe 2 or 3 back and finishing off hard late. I think Victoria's Spirit's probably more 2,000 plus. So if they fold up, and I'm going to stick with Officiate. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Officiate. I've been tipping him and backing him. Haven't got any collects yet, to be fair.
$7 the place now, though.
Yeah. Could run a cheeky race, Officiate. A nice barrier, gets a suck run. Again, he's one that I think wants 2,000 and probably further. He just looks like that type of horse. First up, he was probably playing. There was a pass mark for me.
You might get good odds on the tote because the Whirlpool's in action this weekend at Flemington, so they'll charge into Observer. He'll start much shorter, so you're better off taking the fixed odds early there, but if you like some of these roughies of the place, I reckon you'll get some good divvies.
Yeah, well, let's hope we'll put him in the trifectas and first fours. But no, look, I think Observer's the one it's just the best horse in the race. I'm really excited to see what he does. I think he'll tick off another Group 1. He was unlucky not to win a Caulfield Guineas, really.
He was the only one on speed that was there in the end.
Yeah, and he had to come off heels and check off heels. It's sort of a checkered run. Autumn Boy had a picnic and won. If he beats Autumn Boy in a Caulfield Guineas, he'd be $1.10 here. So I think he's certainly good enough to win a Group 1 at a mile. And then once that happens, not the world, but certainly Melbourne and Sydney is his oyster.
He'll start $1.50 in a Rosehill Guineas smash him, and then it's up to them if they want to go to the Derby, or do they run in a Queen Elizabeth as a 3-year-old colt?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think they want. I don't think we'll see him over 2,500 again. I don't think he's a full-blown. Yes, he's won a Victoria Derby.
Yeah,
but I think he's sharper conveyance than that, and I think you might see his best at 2,000 metres. I think if he wins on Saturday, he'll tick that Group 1 mile box, which yes, he's don't forget he's still a colt, a son of Gay Arthur colt. The Victoria Derby's not exactly something you're going to put on the front of a catalogue.
Australian Guineas, Rosehill Guineas, Queen Elizabeth looks a lot better. And I wouldn't rule out an All-Star mile. If he comes out and wins, would you back him up? Back him up at Flemington, try and win an All-Star mile. I guess you're going against Pride of Jenny would be a factor. I'm thinking a couple of weeks' time over 2,000. You've got the extra week rest against the Sydney horses as well. Rosehill, get to the front, keep rolling. Good luck catching him.
Yeah. Won a Victoria Derby on the backup, so can back up.
True, that's true. Yeah. Let's get to the Blamey Stakes. It is race number 7 on the card. Apulia currently your favourite, $4 fresh off the victory in the Perth Cup. Birdman $4.40, Air Assault $4.60, $6 in Judo, Hollyman's $8.50, $9.50 Willie Do It. Plymouth heads the rest at $19. And One Smooth Operator has his first start for the Fitzsimmons team. There is no speed in this race. Air Assault should lead, and Judo gets a good run behind them. Birdman, if he can settle off the fence, looks in a perfect spot. This race is very tricky, but you're quite keen.
Yeah, look, I don't think I'll be alone. I'd say he'll jump favourite on the day, Birdman. super run last start, bailed up on the rail, sort of between horses, not really fully tested, not able to really get into a gallop, and ran a great fourth. If you put him outside of horses, does he get closer to the winner? Possibly. I think that was clearly the run of the race out of that first up performance. 1,600 metres only suits him further, he's better. At 1,600 metres, the camp's pretty confident that he can deliver. Apulia, clear class horse, Perth Cup winner, went to Perth, was winning races here. They took him to Perth. He absolutely thrived, grew a leg over there, loved the conditions, won the Perth Cup in super fashion. 1,600, he's one that they're probably looking towards an Australian Cup, I'd say, in a couple of weeks' time. So
he won here over a mile last prep.
He did, yeah. But I guess I'd have to go back through. I mean, we saw Light Infantry win in Perth, win the Northerly. I think it was the 1,800 metre race.
Northerly.
And then he came and won the Australian Cup. So it can be done. You can sort of back it up. But he's a gelding now, Apulia. He's always shown abilities. He's found a way to keep winning. He had a long time off with injuries. He's now he's making the most of the comeback and winning races. So you got to respect him. I thought Plymouth was one that closed off nicely too. First up, ran fourth, can improve. But yeah, look, it's going to be tough. It'll be good to see one smooth operator, the Smoothie fan club.
Been trialling well.
Yeah. Sort of not expected to sort of show too much, I wouldn't have thought.
Surely he's Australian Cup Tancred.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that would be a nice setup if everything goes well. Shame we haven't got a Geelong Cup or something like that he liked to pick up there last.
Mornington.
Oh, there you go. Qualifying for the Caulfield Cup. Yeah. I think that's still a golden ticket these days. And my learned colleague, Brad Waters, is a big trial watcher. Yeah. He likes the way Mark Twain is working.
Okay.
He's
another Mornington couple.
Long time off the scene. Tendons, possibly a couple. I don't know. But he certainly did one tendon. Long time off the scene. Didn't show much. But by all accounts, he's trialling super.
Okay.
So respect the Stokes, Neindorf combination. Again, in a race with not a lot of speed, it's going to be hard for anything at the back to sort of be running on. So Birdman, for me, nice barrier, up close, wins.
Yeah. Bang. Flemington race number 9 is the Inglis Sprint, $1 million for the 3-year-olds. Alpha Sophie, your $2.50 favourite. Nashville Jack, $8, the only one under double figures. Trapper John is the next of the best at $10. They'll bunch up as they usually do down the middle here. Interesting race because everyone's chasing the big cash here. You've got Nashville Jack, who's here off a Sunlight. Alpha Sophie smashed him in a group race first up. Get a good feeling he started odds on in an Oaks, resumes down the straight. Trapper John is untapped, unbeaten, and the sectionals he's been running have been quite good. But Alpha Sophie, Peter Moody on radio this morning basically said, if she handles the straight, she will just win.
Hard to argue. Yeah, I can't, certainly won't be questioning PG Moody on that. No, she's genuinely not put a foot wrong.
Yep.
She's won her past 4 starts, certainly not put a foot wrong in Victoria. She might have got beat in her early starts in Queensland, but she certainly won the past 4. It was a nice collect, thanks to PG Moody, when she won at the Valley last spring, basically, which was the funny. I think she's even caught the camp by surprise a little bit. They didn't think she'd be ready for the spring.
Yep.
They thought, we'll put her in a paddock and we'll worry about the autumn. And she just looked like the best horse they had. And he's like, you know what, let's put her in a race and see how she goes. Now, she's got that dynamite turn of foot, which I think will suit her down the straight. Whether she handles the straight, as you alluded to, it's a bit of an unknown. But she has got that gear change that you need because they usually hold up in the straight, and even for $1 million race. They'll jump, they all sort of bunch up, as you say, and then it's whoever has the quickest, sharpest turn of foot. And she has got that push button speed. We saw it with the stablemate, she's Alibi last week. They don't need much. A little shake of the reins and they're off. So I think if she gets all that and even luck, drawn nice and middle, so it gives Zach Spain some options, I guess, to see where he wants to be or what horses to follow. She's clearly the top pick. Yeah. She runs to her best, she wins. Trapper John has to rise to the occasion. Coming in off Sandown win, was a bit wayward, a bit green, a bit raw. Then it won again, second up. Pakenham showed further improvement again. Be interesting. Yeah. The camp obviously won the Blue Diamond last week. Same combination, Mellum and McDonald. 2 for 2, cannot ask for much more. This is a lot harder. Yeah. It's a lot harder. Nashville Jack, I'm happy to risk. I know you're very keen.
Give him a chance. The barrier hurts me, but I'll get to who I'm keen once you're done.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun. And, the other one there is Signature Scent. I think she's just a filly that I just want to just keep following. I think she's got, she burst onto the scene, won a couple of races in a row as a 2-year-old. They tried her in a couple of those early spring races as a 3-year-old, and she just sort of maybe laboured a little bit. She's been working well. I thought her first up run was quite good. I think it was behind Alpha Sophie, possibly. Ran 5th. He's going to have to improve again, but I think she's one that's capable of improving. We have spoken to Danny O'Brien. Get a good feeling, of course, as you said, was basically, typical Oaks campaign last spring, and
didn't run the trip.
Didn't run a hard, like it was a proper staying trip, and didn't get it. They're still looking at Oaks for her. So
South Australia, though?
Yeah, South Australia, yeah. So 2000, what's that?
2000.
2000. So I think that's sort of her range. So I wouldn't expect her to be troubling the scorers here over 1,200.
Good kickoff point for $1 million, though.
That's right. Get a bit of prize money. The owners are hard up, so they need a little bit of extra coin there. Shout out to Pinecliff, but and the other one, I've tipped basically half the card here, haven't I? But
we'll get there.
Lastro Chat.
Yeah,
you're sort of the French Sean T sort of operator, but
goes once.
I'd say that would be, was that the Starry Cat or something? Would that be? That would be my pronunciation thing of that, something along those lines.
Chat is cat in French.
Yeah. So something along those lines. I think going for a hat trick. Celine Gadry rides the straight really well, actually. Doesn't get the great, the best opportunities often, but she has ridden a lot of winners down the straight. Rides for a master in Pat Carey. I think that'll be a sneaky place chance.
Yeah, I'm keen to back Trapper John each way in this. We don't know how good he is. 2 runs, best last 8, 6 and 400 of the day across the card in both of his runs. He didn't look entirely happy between horses last week at Pakenham when he was coming up the inside, but still got clear in one. Bit of a drop-off late sectionally there. Barrier 12, though. Be outside of horses coming down that outside fence. I think that's the best place to be at $10 and $3.10 the place. I'm happy to back him each way, just on the value play ahead of Alpha Sophie, because I think she'll start pretty short.
You know you make me want to shout, throw my hands up and shout, kick my heels up and shout, hey.
We're on.
What are you really gambling with?
Time for Black Bookers. Sign up to a Punters Lite account to get free access to our Black Book feature. You can sign up for your own Black Book for free with a Punters Lite account. Head to punters.com.au to sign up today. Last time I was on the show, I did throw a Black Booker in. It was from Hong Kong. Aerodynamics, the Mark Newnham trained 4-year-old. He runs this weekend across in Hong Kong. He actually missed out in a run in the Classic Cup, which is a part of the 4-year-old series due to why we put him in the Black Book last start. He's in a Class 3 over 2,000 metres. He needs to win this to get in the Hong Kong Derby in 3 weeks' time. Well, he needs to run in the top couple just to get a ratings bump up. That Tragedy Baron run was why he missed out. He's up against the winner of that race in Flowwater Flow, who's also trying to get in the Derby as well, and he's a couple of ratings points below Aerodynamics. So they meet in this race this weekend. No barriers as of yet. We're shooting this on Thursday morning before the fields come out. He does meet Flowwater Flow £6 better for the 2-length loss, and let's be honest, they probably should have finished side by side. So have something on Aerodynamics this weekend and just see what the market does with Flowwater Flow. He probably starts evens, but I'm happy to have something on Aerodynamics if he gets the map to suit this weekend. Group 1 racing does continue in Randwick this weekend. Race 8 is the Verry Elleegant Stakes. Autumn Glow, $1.30. She's unbeaten. Sir Delius, the one-time Cox Plate and Melbourne Cup favourite, resumes at $6.50 and Aliana heads the rest at $11. Gil, this race just sets up really, really perfectly for Autumn Glow, doesn't it?
It does. Well, that's why I got the vest on, because it's going to be raining in Sydney. So that's going to be the only concern we get. Maybe I should get a raincoat or an umbrella, but they're suggesting 40 sort of cataclysmic sort of stuff over the next 24 hours, certainly, and then I guess you hope that it dries out in time. But no, look, Autumn Glow, $1.30. She's going to be hard to go past in this. Chris Waller basically has the field here, hasn't he?
Apart from Delius and Charwolf.
Yeah, so I've been a big fan of Aliana over the journey. It's a hard one. You'd love a penny for Chris's real thoughts when he's at home with a glass of red wine or whatever he would drink, and to think splitting up these mares and having them run against each other. I mean, it's great theatre for us.
Shouldn't she be even money in the Australian Cup favourite? Shouldn't she be going there and winning it?
Well, she could do after this. But I mean, I would say on quality, she could just about beat Autumn Glow.
She probably runs in the Randvet next start, whereas Autumn Glow runs in the George Rider. So there's your split. So.
Yeah. No, look, I mean, you want to protect that 9-0 record. I think she'll get the opportunity. She's very short. So Delius, we're flying the flag for Victoria. We'll call him. Can we call him a Victorian?
Via England.
Yeah, he'll do. He becomes Victorian. I mean,
Got Willow.
His best form's been in Victoria. He emerged.
This is second run in Sydney. So I think second run since he's been here. He's ran up in Brisbane, ran in Sydney, and then had the 2 runs in Victoria. So
his best form, the two ones there are both in Melbourne. So we'll call him a Victorian. Knocked off Veer Sistine, didn't he? Yeah, ran the pants off her last spring, and he was meant to win the Cox Plate and didn't quite make it there. So we get excited to see him back at the track. It's the weather. The weather's going to be the concern. If it rains and it pours, you got to give Chow Wolf the respect he deserves. I think it's a great race. We all want to see the favourite win just to go 10-0.
Yeah, I think Charwolf, the place is the bet for me, even if the rain does come, because we saw him in you mentioned cataclysmic, the conditions when he won the Champions Mile. It was absolutely pouring rain and cats and dogs that morning as well. So he just needs to get in the clear air. Technically speaking, he's Australia's champion miler currently, given he's won the King Charles twice. He's won the Champions Mile as well. So right now, until Autumn Glow wins the Doncaster after winning the Golden Eagle and Epsom, he still counts in my view, technically speaking. But about even money the place, I want to back him. Aliana second up last prep, regressed a little bit. Delius, let's see how he goes. He probably runs a place as well, but I'm happy to back Chow Wolf the place. Hopefully we get about even money the place there. The next race on the card, of course, Group 1 Surround Stakes over 1,400 metres for 3-year-old fillies. Tempted, $1.60, Apocalyptic $4, $10 for Ole Dancer and Savvy Halley. And the next best in Panova, who resumes, is $17. The rain makes this race a little more interesting. I think if this race was on good, clean ground, this would be Tempted would just sit off Savvy Halley and go whoosh, go around the turn. But the rain changes the race a little bit here as well. Like Apocalyptic has trialled well on wet conditions. Ole Dancer is Ole Kirk out of a Hassan mare, should handle it. And I expect Karinska and Panova to both handle as well. But Tempted, she's by Street Boss out of an Exceed and Excel mare, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, and the way she's come back, I mean, she put the riding on the ward last spring.
She ran second in Everest.
So cannot knock her at all. And it was an arrogant sort of win first up, sort of swinging off her when Chad... Was it Chad that rode?
Yeah, Chad just gave her a slap down the shoulder, went, see you later, Napoleonic, who'd won a red anchor bar as far as you could kick your hat, who ran well on the weekend. It was just like, yep, I'll beat up on the boys. And, well, that race is rated through the roof compared to the fillies first up.
Yeah, that's right. So, like, she's clearly the filly to beat. Now, the two that will be chasing her, Apocalyptic and Ole Dancer, are already Group 1 winners. So, I guess they've already met the mark, haven't they?
Yep.
So, she's trying to become a Group 1 winner. She's Group 1 placed, is Tempted. Ole Dancer, again, we put the big V on, and under this vest, we got the Victorian jumper on. But Ole Dancer, I thought, was super first up. Obviously, in a race that doesn't compare to what the top two fillies in this market have contested. But I just like the way she returned. She gave the leader Sass Appeal, who's no slouch. I think she's a decent mare's grade. Like in the spring, I think she'll be an Empire Rose type mare. Gave her a big start, rattled home late. I don't think they went too hard either. So they did. She did a good job to do that. It was the perfect Surround Stakes trial. This was always the target for her, to add another Group 1 to the resume after she sat outside of Apocalyptic last spring and beat her in the 1,000 Guineas. You could argue Apocalyptic, that was not an afterthought, would be unfair, but she won the flight, Apocalyptic, and then came down to Melbourne for the 1,000 Guineas, whereas Ole Dancer was always being aimed at that.
Yeah.
And the only other one, and we touched on this earlier off camera, was Panova. Now, we both enjoyed a nice collect on Panova during the carnival. I think the first race of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, I thought, how good is this going to be? It all went downhill after that. But Panova, I couldn't believe the price she got out to that day. It was like $4.60. $4.64 something.
So they charged into that Philip Stokes horse that had run the absolutely smashed the clock at Caulfield on the Wednesday.
Even money, that's right. Yes. So anyway, I think Panova, you got to respect her. I think Chris Waller, he only runs his good fillies in that carbine race at Flemington.
Fangirl,
Aliana.
Yep.
So you must have an opinion of Panova.
If she's the third best of Aliana and Fangirl, she's going to be a good horse.
So you'd think that she'd be in the finish somewhere.
Yeah.
She could sort of, show up first up. J-Mac.
She's like, she feels a very far lap Vinery Stud Stakes horse.
Yeah. Like this wouldn't be up. But it's still strange for the Waller camp to resume in the Group 1 1,400. Like, it's an odd He usually likes to get a run in them. Like you wouldn't put him into a certain...
In recent years, it feels like Chris and his stable, and they've obviously, it's something they've learnt through the years. They've learnt to really target some of these races first up that obviously aren't the sprints. Like we've seen him win first up over miles with Winks and a few other horses in the past. Obviously, Winks is in a category of her own. But we've seen that he's able to do it first up over 1,400 with some of these good horses. So it's something that the stats would back it up the last 5 years compared to the previous decade, I'd guess.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, look, you can't go... Hard to go past the favourite. Yeah. You got to have a Saver and Ole Dancer, and I'll have Panova in there.
Yeah, I'm happy to risk Apocalyptic in this. I thought she had the races handed to her in the spring when she won. The only race that she had a half decent tempo in 4 runs, she got beaten. May have been an afterthought, but I'm not sold on her yet, despite her really good record. I think this is all about Tempted, even if there is that slight knock over 1,400, but that was a Golden Rose where they broke the track record. But Tempted should be getting the job done. The last race we'll check on this weekend in Australia is Randwick race number 6, the Guy Walter Stakes over 1,400 for mares. Manal is your $3 favourite currently. Verona Rose next at $5. Gerringong, do you know what that is, Gil? $6.
It's an animal of some description, isn't it?
Oh, it's in New South Wales. It's a town in New South Wales. There'd be some animals that live there, I guarantee that. Firestorm next at $7. Jenny the Fox also $7. And Arctic Glamour at $4. The rain helps set this up for Manal a little bit, but I don't mind Arctic Glamour fresh. Won the Hot Danish first up last prep over 1,400 metres before being touched off by Yorkshire in a group race. 3 of her other 5 fresh runs. She ran 3rd to Jolie Star. She absolutely smacked him in a maiden, and she ran 2nd to Schwartz in a Missile Stakes where she probably would have won. I think she gets a good setup from gate 4, and Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexiou, noted first up trainers, so she could get the job done here and have a freshen up towards another race later in the autumn. But at $12 and $3.10, a frosted mare who's handled soft going before, I'm happy to back her because this is the same group of mares that'll continue running against each other for the next 18 months.
And you're right, Gerringong's not an animal at all. So I just Googled that. But I just wanted to be certain.
Yeah.
I thought, that's just something similar. Anyway, now, where were we? Yes, look, Manal's the one. She's clear. I mean, the market says she's the one. I don't mind Shohisha.
Shohisha?
There's no extra S in there, is there? So it's Shohisha. Hopefully Darren Flindell does a better job than me when he's calling Shohisha.
This is why I type the words.
To victory under Zach Lloyd. David Payne has one on. So this is more of a wet track play.
Yeah,
I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we do get the cataclysmic conditions. And Shohisha has one on the wet. Has one first up. It's nicely weighted. It's got Zach Lloyd aboard. Good value in, as you said, these mares races, and we see them here in Victoria as well. They're basically just, I don't want to say blanket finishes, but they sort of, it's like a lottery.
Turn on the hamster wheel.
That's right. Who gets the turn this week? Yeah. You know, and they sort of swap and change, and so you could basically raffle it. If they run to form and Manal wins, Gerringong runs a good race for second. Jenny the Fox deep in campaign, so she'll be hard fit.
Yeah,
she'll be hard fit. But yeah, Shohisha, if you just want to throw one on the outside.
Yeah, don't mind it because at those mares races, especially in the quaddie, you may find some value there. Of course, once again, World Pool in action. We're probably going to get big value outside of the favourites in that one. Last race we'll touch on this weekend is the Hong Kong Gold Cup this Sunday over at Sha Tin. Romantic Warrior goes around. He's the king of 2,000 metres at Sha Tin. He was absolutely brilliant last start, going back to the mile. Too good for Voyage Bubble there. Has trialled since against Voyage Bubble and also against My Wish. My Wish in that race should have run 3rd. Alexi Bedell had replaced Luke Ferraris. Well, Alexi's been dumped after one ride. Huey Bowman gets on board there. And geez, I thought he trialled well, but he's not going to beat Romantic Warrior. If Romantic Warrior wasn't in the race, you'd be pretty confident. All things being equal, Romantic Warrior probably wins. He's going to be $1.04. If you want an exotic play, maybe throw My Wish in for second in your exactas. And quickly on the Classic Cup, the 1,800 metre race for 4-year-olds. Little Paradise will be favourite. He won the Classic Mile really well. With Even Luck, he'll win again. Numbers, the former King of Thunder that was trained by John O'Shea. 2 from 3 in Hong Kong. He's been a strong winner on speed over 2,000 and 1,800 his last 2. But I thought Infinite Resolve, who was in the placings in the Classic Mile, trialled really well in that same Romantic Warrior trial. And he was the best of the closers. And I think he will be finishing hard over 1,800 metres. So those 2 good races this weekend over in Hong Kong. But Gil, I need to give you 100 theoretical dollars this weekend. And what are you having the $100 on?
We're going to have it on. We'll start off on the safer side of things. We'll go Wintry. We'll take a little bit of that into Observer, into Birdman. So we'll go a 3-horse all up. Wintry to place.
Yep.
So that's about $2.50 or thereabouts. Observer's about $2 around the same mark.
$2.20, I think.
$2.20. And Birdman's about the $4.50 mark. So
$2.30.
I'm not good at maths, but I reckon that'll get us up and around $15 or thereabouts. So we'll win $1,500. And we'll move on to next week. Well, you won't have me. You'll have the stars of the show back.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go against you. $50 of my 100's going straight on Belle Mercy in that race. I think barrier 8 suits her well. She can get to the outside fence and storm over the top of them. And then I'm going to have a $50 all-up, Observer, Tempted, and Autumn Glow. I know it's not a lot there, but that could get us about $300 having a look at the thing this morning. So,
well, you can still win Belle Mercy.
Yeah.
You can win and I can run second with Wintry and we're both still alive.
So we could just take the 100, just have 150 and we can win about, what's that? It'd be about $1,700. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yep.
This is why we're not on this show every week. Next week, we'll be, of course, joined by Campbell Brown. Will be back in the hosting studio. Hopefully, he has got back from Tasmania. Hopefully, he's either on the boat or the plane home at the moment. Of course, Katie McDonald will join us because it is Super Saturday at Flemington. Gil, thank you for joining us this week.
No worries. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and that's it for another episode of Hold All Tickets, brought to you by Tab. Follow the Hold All Tickets page on Bet Friends to copy all of our tips for the weekend and more. Good luck this weekend if you're having a bet. We'll see you next week. Hold All Tickets.
You know you make me wanna shout, hold my hands up and shout, kick my heels up and shout, hey, 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 hey.
We're on.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.